Just want to remind you guys, this episode is presented by Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use the code JUICE to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup.
What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Guys, we're going to go ahead and give you our Colts record predictions. The schedule dropped Wednesday, so we're here giving our way too early predictions because obviously anything can change, but we're going to go ahead and just give it to you now because we feel like we can. Okay, so Cody, I will say this too, because I didn't talk to you much about it yesterday. There's a lot of 405 games for this team this year. That's a change. I know they're going over to the West Coast a lot this year, which probably makes all the difference. But there's a lot of 425 games, and even the international game and a primetime game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I hadn't got a good chance to look at that because I was doing stuff last night, so I wasn't able to hop on with you. But yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's kind of nice because I'm freaking tired of the 1 o'clock games all the time. It was the worst. It's the absolute worst place to be in. So it's kind of refreshing to have some games in, the 405, 425 range, have a Monday night game, have a couple different things there that definitely changes things up a little bit. It's kind of nice.
Absolutely. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and hop into it. Week 1, a home opener, Cody, against the Miami Dolphins. Week 1, man, who do you have winning this one?
Yeah, so week 1, Derek, I honestly think this might be the Colts' best chance in a while to potentially get off to a 1-0 start. Now, the Colts haven't done it since I've been in high school. So it's hard for me to say the Colts are going to do it again just because, similar to another game I'm sure we'll talk about, they haven't done it. They haven't proven to me they can do it. So as much as I think it's a winnable, very winnable game, I'm going to stay with Miami because the Colts have been embarrassing, frankly, in week 1 for the last number of years. So I don't want to do that, but I can't choose them until they prove it wrong.
Yeah, I was saying it last night. I think that the Colts definitely have a good chance of beating Miami. Miami is definitely thinned out in a lot of different positions. And what's the one thing that the Miami Dolphins have that, is their weapon, their biggest weapon, and that's their offense and especially their wide receivers. Now, obviously, you bolstered up your secondary, so that definitely helps you. And, a new defensive scheme. So that could influence a lot of things. Like I said, I think personally that at the end of the year, the Indianapolis Colts can be the better team than the Miami Dolphins. I think even on paper in most places, they're better than the Dolphins. But as you said, we have not won a week 1 game in a long time. And we struggle early in the year. And as much as I hate to say it, I will also agree with you. I think we lose it week 1 because I just don't have faith that we'd win it. And, people are going to get mad at that, but I don't care. It's the reason why we look into the past for a reason. This team sucks in week 1 games for whatever reason that may be.
And even like last year, they had a chance to win it and they blew it in the last couple minutes there. So yeah, they're find ways to lose in week 1. It's actually kind of amazing. So,
yeah, absolutely.
But anyway, yeah. So week 1, Miami there. Now week 2, Derek, Denver. So kind of a rematch there of a late season game last year, where obviously we remember, unfortunately, the Jonathan Taylor dropped touchdown there, and then also obviously you talk about the A.D. Mitchell throw, pick 6 sort of thing. So just some very unfortunate things. But Derek, when the Colts had a lot of blunders in that game, but it felt like they were for a while going toe-to-toe with the Denver Broncos, and then some of those real big errors kind of screwed it over.
Yep. Oh, 100%.
So who are you going with here?
I think that they will, after their loss to Miami, I think that they will come back stronger. It's nice to be able to have back-to-back home games to start your year. I think they win at least one of them to start the year. So I'll have them beating Denver here.
Okay. And then they go on the road the next week to Nissan Stadium down in Tennessee. So who do you
Did you have them beating the Broncos or no?
um
I'm keeping track of record predictions. That's
got
why
you?
I'm
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no.
no. Okay.
Denver's a good team, dude. Like
Okay.
Denver's
Oh,
a
I'm
better
not
team.
denying it. I know that. They
Denver's
are
a better
definitely a
team
good
than
team.
Miami. I'll just say that. Denver's a better team than Miami, in my opinion. So it's hard for me to
But
say they
again,
do.
it's always that sort of situation where the Colts
True.
they beat teams they shouldn't and they lose to teams they should. They
You know,
shouldn't.
I'm
So
just going to tell you this, Derek. I've been really high on the Colts record the last couple of years. I'm not going to do it this year. I'm just
yeah,
going to
I
be honest with
totally
you.
get why you're saying that for sure. Yeah, week 3, Tennessee Titans, first divisional game of the season, Cody. Yeah, and it's how great is it that we don't have to have a divisional game right at the start of
That
the
is nice.
year? And ironically enough, you're going to face the Titans again in week 8, who, again, your first 2 divisional matchups are both against the Tennessee Titans and in the first 8 weeks. So
Yep.
very interesting. But for this first matchup, what do you like?
I like Indy in this one. I mean, regardless of how good or bad Tennessee has been, Indy's also, pretty much had their number for a while now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Cam Ward, I mean, still rookie. This Tennessee roster, not good. I mean, there's a reason they picked number 1 overall this year. So I'm going to go with Indianapolis here. So go to 1 and 2 here in my prediction.
Yep, I totally agree with you. Their overall roster just not where they wanted to be right now. I
Yeah.
like that they got Cam Ward, but they definitely are not going to beat Indy in week 3. So yeah, I'll do that. I'll take the win there. Week 4, the Rams. The first time that the Indianapolis Colts will be going to LA. They actually played twice this year in LA. So first time for the Rams, September 28th, week 4, their second 4:05 game. Cody, who do you have here in this one?
Yeah, this is gonna be tough because the Rams are a good team. I'm gonna go to Rams here because I think they're just really, really talented. I mean, Matthew Stafford is a really good quarterback. They have a lot of talent on their roster. Obviously they added Devontae Adams this offseason. And they're a team that I think can beat anybody. So I'm gonna go the Rams here in this one.
It will be very interesting for me on how the new defensive change impacts this game.
Yeah.
Because if this was the Colts defense of Gus Bradley or Matt Eberflus, yeah, I'm in total agreement with you. Matt Stafford's going to absolutely annihilate us. He could still annihilate us with Lou Anarumo, but we're going to figure that out. I still think that there's a better chance that we can have him make mistakes. But we are on the road. It is in LA. It's week 4. It's the Rams. They're a good team. I will say that they lose that one too. So through the first 4 weeks, Cody currently has the Colts sitting at 1 and 3. I myself have them sitting at 2 and 2
Yep.
to start the year, which I think that's what they started. They started 2 and 2 last year through 4 weeks. Okay, week 5, the Raiders back at home this time. Cody, what do you think here?
Raiders are also a really, really bad team, so I think Indianapolis will take this. Although Geno Smith, he does add some new element to this Raider offense. But I do think I'll still go Indy because the Raiders roster has a ton of holes still. I mean, they were really bad a year ago, and they weren't. Frankly, Derek, they weren't just a good quarterback away at all. So
Yeah.
I'm probably going to go Indianapolis bouncing back here, going to 2 and 3 here.
Yeah, I agree with you. Still think the Colts are a better team roster wise. Don't care that they got Pete Carroll as a coach and Geno Smith as a quarterback. They still have a lot more issues on their team. They will be better this year, but I don't think they're going to be obstructionally better. So, yeah, I'd have Indy coming back home, getting that dub. So, yeah, we'll have them win there. The Arizona Cardinals, the next game, week 6. What do you have there?
I have actually the Colts going another win here. I'm going 2-0 here back at home here in the month of October. So Colts 2-0 here. I have them beating Arizona. I mean, Arizona has definitely some talent. Don't get me wrong, but I think the Colts at home. I think this for me just sets up as a game Indianapolis wins.
Yeah, and Indy's had some pretty solid games against Arizona in the last few years. So I will definitely take them to win that one against Arizona being at home. Week 7, back on the road, a 4:05 game again, back to LA, Cody,
Yeah.
facing the Chargers. Who do you have?
So the Chargers are kind of interesting to me because I feel like they can either be really, really good or really just incompetent. Like either way, like they have talent certainly. I won't dispute that. Justin Herbert's a really good quarterback. You're going back to the West Coast again. I have the Chargers here just because of all that and travel and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna go the Chargers here for this one.
Yeah, Cody, I don't know if you saw the teams that are traveling, but the Indianapolis Colts have the 5th most travel distance of any team in the NFL this year. Obviously, that comes with, traveling overseas, no doubt about it. But like we said, you're going to LA twice. You're going to Denver. You're going to Seattle. So, you're going to be traveling to the West Coast a lot more this year than what you typically do. So that definitely takes a big jump into it. For the Chargers, yeah, I mean, again, I can't pick the Colts to ever beat the Chargers. We could very well beat them, but I just don't see it happening. It's just one of those games I can't see them winning. So yeah, I have them losing. So that'll make you and I both having the Colts losing both their LA matchups here for that. Okay, and then week 8, the Tennessee Titans again. This time on the road, Cody. What do you got?
This one's actually, I think, at home, right? If I'm not mistaken, though. The white is the home
Yes,
game.
you're right. I'm sorry. Yes, this one is at home. I do
So,
apologize.
okay,
Yeah.
so they head back home. I think they can beat up on the Titans a little bit here, get back to an even record, in my opinion. So I have the Colts in this one.
Okay.
4-4
All right.
right now.
So there you go. I will also take the win. I have them sweeping the Titans. It just will be that way until they don't. As we said, guys, today's episode is sponsored by Prize Picks. Now, what is Prize Picks? Prize Picks is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. Instead of battling against thousands of other players across platforms, you're basically picking 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you're choosing more or less on those stat projections to be able to watch those winnings roll in. It's very easy. Do you guys want to play along at some of Prize Picks' favorite players like rapper Meek Mill and UFC fighter Sugar Sean O'Malley? Well, if you guys sign up today, you can find the community plays under the promos tab of the app to view the entries of some of the biggest names on the platform and be a part of that as well. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000 just like that with NBA, NHL, and college basketball entries today on Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Like a lot of other things, guys, they also offer injury insurance, so your entries stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. So if someone exits the game in the first half and does not return in the second, that player projection won't count against you and the rest of your entry stays live. So it's great bounce back for that one. What I love about the app as well, guys, is it's not just sports like NBA, NHL, football, and tennis, and baseball, and all these other things, but there's also a lot of others that go into it as well. If you like to place entries on video game situations like Call of Duty, CS2, Apex, if that's something that appeals to you, there's a wide variety of sports and video games and everything else that you can place entries on. And I love how expansive it is. Even just looking at the NBA, there's entries you can make with turnovers, with points. You can do combo deals, dunks, field goals attempted, all of these different things. So there's just so many different ways to make money off of these entries. Be sure to download the app today and use the code JUICE to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. But anyway, so week 8, we're almost halfway through the schedule, guys. Cody has the Colts sitting at 4-4, and then I have the Colts currently sitting at 5-3. through 8 weeks. Let's go through the next 4 weeks here. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to be on the road this time, Cody, a 1 o'clocker as well. Who do you have here?
The last couple of years, the Colts have had the Steelers' number. Like, no matter who they played. And Pittsburgh, who the heck's going to be their quarterback? Who knows at this point? I mean, they just traded away George Pickens. They, to me, they're aging on the defensive side. Yeah, they did get DK Metcalf. But to me, Derek, who the heck's throwing to the football? And also, I look at this and I say, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers got worse this last year, and the Colts definitely got better. So I'm going Indianapolis here. And that's actually, fun fact, that's actually on my wife's birthday. So, but anyway, so yes, I have the
Indianapolis. I hear you going to Pittsburgh to go to that game is what I'm hearing.
We've talked about it. I don't know yet. I'm not sure. Her whole family's Pittsburgh fans, so we talked about it. We'll have to see.
Yeah, and you're not wrong. The Indianapolis Colts over the last few years have definitely had the Pittsburgh Steelers number. And by all intents and purposes, this is a better roster than what Pittsburgh has. But being on the road, I don't know how I'll feel about this game. I just don't know how I feel about, even with the Steelers not having a quarterback, I still don't have much faith in being able to beat them right now. So I'll go with a loss here with Pittsburgh being on the road.
Okay.
All right. Week 10, the Atlanta Falcons, our international game. What do you got for this one, man, in Germany?
Oh, yeah. So this is an interesting one because the Colts, I feel like, have had a decent record overseas. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like they've had a decent record.
I think they have. I mean, I think their last, I'm pretty sure their last 2 international games they've won.
I know they won the New England one in 23, but I can't remember beyond that.
Yeah, I can't remember. I just know the last time we were in an international game, we did well. So
yeah,
we won. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Well, Atlanta has a lot of talent, I think, Derek. I mean, especially on the offensive side of the ball. It really will depend how Michael Penix is looking. Like, I think at this point, right? Like, is he going to ascend into a really good quarterback here in year 2, or is he going to look, continue? I mean, he had some nice moments last year. Don't get me wrong, but what is he going to be? I think that's the biggest question here. So I think I'm going to take Indianapolis here just because of the inexperience at quarterback, and because I think the Colts can make Michael Penix make some of those mistakes. So I'm going to go Colts here. Is that crazy? I said I wasn't going to be kind with them, but here I am having the Colts win 2 games.
It's only 6-4 through the first 10 weeks, buddy. We still got the back half of this schedule.
I know, but I'm like, am I being too generous?
Off one.
Exactly.
Right? So you
I'm like, am I being too generous right now?
You can be harsh on the back end of this, Cody. It's okay. We're allowed.
Yeah. Well, 6-4 so for me through the first 10 weeks.
Which, I mean, if you're most Colts fans, I think you'd take that. Bye week 11, so we don't have to worry about that. Then you go back on the road to face the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead.
Ooh,
Who do you got here, man? I mean, this is a tough one.
Dude, with how the Colts have actually, in the last number of times they've met, actually had good success against Kansas City, I can't have them going into Arrowhead and beating the Chiefs. It's hard for like the elite teams to do that. So
yeah,
it's just hard for me to choose them. So I'll go Kansas City here. As much as I'm like, one of my heart wants me to believe that they can go in and beat the Chiefs again. I just can't do it.
We are the only team that Patrick Mahomes has not beaten yet.
Yeah,
we're the only team that Patrick Mahomes has not beaten.
That's pretty
wild. How many terrible teams we have had that Patrick Mahomes has faced, we have still found ways to beat him every time. But I am going with a loss. I can't in good conscience say that I think they're going to win. Anyways, we move on. Going back home for the first time in a bit to play against the Houston Texans at home. Who do you have here?
Yeah. So I am very torn on this, Derek, because I want to say the Colts are going to go they're going to split with the Texans, but let's face it, the Colts haven't beat the Texans in a couple of years now, right? But I know that they beat the Texans. What was that? Like week 2 of 2023, but that was before CJ Stroud became what he became, right? So
right.
I have a hard time picking them. I'm just going to say that. Houston's got a lot of, I know the Colts added talent, but Houston's got a lot of talent too. Oh, man. This is a tough one. This is a very tough one, but my heart says Indy, but my head says Houston here. So I'm going to go with my
Well,
head.
here, I'll hold on to your decision for a minute.
All right.
I'll talk about it real quick and see how if it swayed you one way.
Okay, sure.
The back end of this schedule is rough, man. You have 4 of your last 6 games are going to be divisional games. They're going to come in full swing, and you're going to have to take advantage of them. I do believe that we split with the Texans during this back end of stretch of it. And I feel like if you had a chance to beat them one time, it would have to be at home. So I take the win for them here, just in this matchup, only because I like I said, you have to split with them in order to even have a chance to go against them. Now, obviously, their offensive line is still trash and all these other things that are happening. But you're right. Like Houston, it's hard to pick the Colts against Houston right now when Houston, the last 3 times we played them, we haven't beaten them.
And to be fair, the Colts have been in every single game. Every single game has been like a 1-score game, right? So, I'll go. I'll bite. I'll go one. I'll go the Colts win here at home. So they'll split with the Houston Texans. So obviously, you know what I feel like the last game is going to look like. But yeah, for this sake here, back at home, Colts take care of business here. And like you said, this is one of 4 divisional games they're going to have to play against them and the Jacksonville Jaguars. So yeah, I'll have the Colts here starting off with the win here.
Speaking of divisional rivals, next week you'll stay in the division taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's on the road, Cody. I already marked it as a loss on your record. You can't tell me otherwise.
No, I
know
agree.
You're probably not going to tell me otherwise, but we all know why.
Let's move forward. We don't even need to explain.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And if
any
of you have a problem with it, you guys can go away. Go away.
Yeah.
Don't come to me in the comments saying that we're not true fans because we picked against Jacksonville again. Get out of here.
Clown Town is all I had to see to never pick the Colts in Jacksonville until they win.
Yeah.
That's it.
There you go. All right. So then you're on the road again. You're heading back to the West Coast to face the Seattle Seahawks.
Yes.
Another 4:25 game. Who do you have in that one?
Got Seattle in this one, Derek, to be honest with you. Look, I don't know if they're going to be a great team, but I think they definitely have some very talented pieces. I think this is a game I really see the Colts quarterbacks in Seattle really struggling against their defense because they have some really, really good corners. So, yeah, for this sake, I'm probably going to go loss here, unfortunately.
I agree with you. I mean, I still think that Seattle's a team we should beat, but as 12th man crowd, it's Seattle. It's a tough environment every time. All right. The Monday night matchup, the one primetime game that the Indianapolis Colts get this year. And it's at home, Cody. Another home primetime Indianapolis game. Definitely a fun one there. I will just say I am going to mark this down as a win. I think that San Fran got exponentially worse. They're extremely top heavy from a talent standpoint. I know they still have some decent offensive linemen. I know Brock Purdy is still a solid quarterback. I know you have a couple key role players like Trent Williams, Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, and, Nick Bosa. But as far as everything else goes, I just think San Fran has a lot of issues on their team. And I think Indy will take advantage of the one primetime game they have this year.
Yeah, and Charvarius Ward, I foresee him just having this crazy game. I don't know why. It's just a return, a kind of a revenge, if you will. Not that, San Fran did anything bad, but you know what I mean? Like, he's playing his former team. Like, it's going to be a storyline all week. I could foresee that being a big deal. So I'm going to say, I'm going to go agree with you here. I'm going to say Colts take care of business against the San Fran team that definitely has talent, but how much talent? That's a big question. Like like you said, they got some of the stars, but do they have some of the role guys? Do they have some of the guys that are the glue? They lost a lot of them, including Charvarius Ward this last year. So, I mean, especially on the defense, Derek, they lost a lot of guys, like a ton of guys. Not to mention, like you said, Deebo Samuel. You don't know if Christian McCaffrey is even going to be healthy. Like, there's so many question marks there around the San Francisco 49ers. So, yeah, I'm going to go Colts win here too. I agree.
All right. And then your final two games, and of course they're divisional games because the Colts just can't help themselves but always schedule their divisional games late in season. Jacksonville Jaguars, again this time, Cody, playing them twice in a span of a month.
Yeah.
But the Indianapolis Colts are at home this time around. Does that, what do you think happens?
I think they win. I think they split with Houston and with Jacksonville this year. I think that we would call that a win, probably, especially because Houston's the reigning divisional champs, and also for the reasons we talked about in Jacksonville. I think if Houston split, you feel pretty good about that. So yeah, I'll go Colts win here on this one.
Okay, I'll take the Colts to win this one too. I think they split. They certainly need to if they want to have any chance of winning the division.
Yeah.
And then the final game, the Houston Texans, once again, that game will be determined on date and time because, Cody, it could very well be a game that decides the division.
Yes.
Very well could. It has recently in the past. And if the Indianapolis Colts, again, because you and I both have them at 9-7 going into week 18. It could very well be that game that decides if the Houston Texans are going into it or the Colts are, could very well be. It all depends on the records at that point. But with that game being on the road in NRG Stadium, who do you have in this one?
I said already I'm going to have them split. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to go Houston here just because of that. But yeah, this could be a huge game, like you said. Huge game. Could be kind of the opposite, just this time in Houston from a couple of years ago. Like, I could see that being a reality.
Yeah. I unfortunately have to agree with you. I just don't see, like I said, I thought that they'd split. It didn't matter one way or the other who wins and what, but I think they're going to split one way or the other. So, well, that's it. Cody and I both had the Indianapolis Colts finishing this year with a total record of 9-8. So, very interested to see your guys' comments and what you guys think the record will be for the Indianapolis Colts. Front part of the schedule, Cody, certainly has its tough matchups, but it is a lot more favorable at the beginning of this schedule than the back end of this schedule. And I kind of like where the bye week is placed, week 11. Yeah, that's actually not too bad.
That's not bad at all. No, I mean, that's kind of where you wanted it, right? Like kind of around-ish Thanksgiving, middle to end of November. That's kind of when you're looking at. So week 11, 12, somewhere in that range, I think is fine. So, yeah, I'm good with that for the Indianapolis Colts. And, I mean, frankly, Derek, like they made improvements. Like it's very obvious they made improvements from what they did. But is it enough for them to finally get over the hump? I don't know if it is. I'm not sure if it is. And I guess I'm just like, call me cynical, but they got to go out there and show me that they can win more than 8 or 9 games. They have to, because that's what they've done for the last 2 years, right? They've just been right there where they're not quite good enough for the playoffs. They're not bad enough to tank. And it's like something's got to give here, man. So, yeah, that's kind of where we are right now. And, there's a couple games I think could go also where the Colts could be, what? They could win 8. They could win 8 games, be 8-9. They could win 7 games. Like a lot of things could go differently. But on the flip side, some of these games also that we said the Colts lose, they could change some things up this year. So, like I said, like the Colts last year, even there was games that they could have taken care of. They could have won. And you think if they would have won a couple more games and would have done a couple more clutch things when it mattered, I mean, who knows? You're only a couple good plays away from maybe being a playoff team, a couple bad plays away from being where you are now. So, yeah, we'll just have to see, man. But I think it's good to set the expectations low. And if they shock us, great. Awesome. We'd be more than happy with that. Like, we'd love to come back in, however many months' time and completely eat our words. Like, we would make us happy as can be if that was the case.
Yep, absolutely. Well, that's going to do it for this one, guys. That was our record predictions. For way too early record predictions, I might add, for the Indianapolis Colts going forward. But we'll continue to have that opinion change as it goes along. But that'll do for this one, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, go Colts.